Hello everyone, this is Chiji from Desktop Coach, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're picking up from where we left off in the last video, taking a look at how we can set up different page layouts for our workbooks. In the last video, we talked about adjusting row and column properties and customizing our worksheet tabs. Click the link above to check out that video. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you enjoy the content. And if you do, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And check out the description below for a Microsoft 365 giveaway. Alright then, let's get to it. Let's move on and check out our sheet layout or page layout setup. And here we can see how we could go about setting up our page layout and getting it ready for, say, print or to get exported to PDF for sharing purposes. And we can go about this by going to the page layout and take a look at the different properties we have in the page setup group. So when we check out the drop downs, we can see what margins we have currently selected. Here you can see narrow setup. You can check out our orientation. It's currently in landscape. You can check out the paper size. It's letter. You can use print area if you're trying to set up a certain area of your worksheet for print. And we can use page breaks. We can insert, remove, and reset all page breaks back to the default. We can look at other properties in the page layout much later in the series. Another way you can check out the current view of your page would be to go to the File tab and go down to the Print, and you can see a more visual setup for what your page is going to look like if you happen to print or export it. I prefer this view when it comes to setting up my sheets for an export or for prints, just because it gives me a very secluded visual setup for what my information is going to look like on each page. So you can see everything set up in here, and at the bottom left you can see we have 4 pages currently going to be printed or exported, and you can see how it's all been cut off. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the properties. We're going to dive deeper into print properties later in the series. Now we're going to be focusing on our orientation, our paper size, our margins. So if we change this orientation back to portrait, for example, you can see what information we're going to have. If you went on and said, let's change this to a normal margin from narrow, you can see we're going to have less information on our page. Now you can see for some reason we're having a cutoff at the row. Let's go back and check that out. To know where our information is currently cut off for our pages, we can take a look and see if we can find any page breaks, right? So if I scroll down a little, I can see a line here, and I can see one here and one here. So you can see these are called page breaks, and they just help us indicate what part of our pages are going to print in which page. So to get a clear view apart from our print preview, we could go to our View tab and look at our page break view. And I'm just going to zoom this in a little for you to get a clearer look. You can see what happens here is that our pages are getting cut off at columns D and columns K and rows 20 and 32. Well, 32 is the end of the sheet, right? So we can make changes and adjust as necessary. Let's go back to the normal view and go back to the page layout. So if we wanted more information to show up on our page when we print, we could go and start by, say, clearing our page breaks. So we can just hit reset, and you can see that horizontal page break is now cleared. And if we went back to our page break view, we can see that page one is now fully a portrait view showing all the information from row 9 to row 32, but it's still cut out on column D. If we went back to our normal view and just shortcut Control P to our print preview, you can see that we have all the rows showing up, but not enough columns. To achieve this, we can go to our page layout, change our orientation to landscape. You can see that that vertical page break has moved to column F, which means that everything from column A to F is going to show up on our page. And we can also take a look and say, ask ourselves if we have more, if we can get more space for the information to show up on our page. And we can do that by changing our margin. If we went back to the print preview, we'd see that the margin is that space between our information and the edge of the page where nothing gets printed. We can create more space for our information by changing the margin to a smaller size, something like narrow, for example. You can see it shortens that space and creates more space for information to show up on our page. And going back and entering the view tab to our page break, you can see that our page break, has now moved from F to G. You can control your page breaks manually in the page break view by hovering over the page break line and dragging like so. You can see how it moves that. And we can get just as much as we want in each page, and gives us a more customized view for our sheets. So this is just a way you can take real control of your page layout and setup. You can get everything done within your sheet and view your changes within the view tab using the page break view, or you could go the other way. Like I said, I prefer the Control P option where you use your print preview. To me, it's just a more wholesome visual for getting a good understanding and clarity of what your documents are going to look like before they are printed or exported. All right. Thanks everyone for spending time with me today. As always, I'd love to see your comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we put out something new. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next lesson.